Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guide on the Minotaur Slayer assignment. Now, if you're watching this guide, you're here for one of two reasons. Either you're aiming for 99 Slayer and want the best methods of dealing with this Slayer monster, or you're already 99 Slayer, aiming for 120 and wanting the best method to capture this monster's soul for your Slayer codex. Whatever reason you're here, this is the guide for you. Now, in this guide we'll be going through the following: the requirements to be assigned this monster as a task, which Slayer master assigns them and how many, best locations for the most effective kills, strategies and weaknesses of the monster, recommended equipment from highest to lowest, tips and tricks to obtain the soul for your codex or dungeon, social Slayer and its rewards, key drops to collect including handy items to help with this. Now, if you've already obtained 99 Slayer but haven't started the Sunken Pyramid Slayer Codex sort of activity, make sure you click the annotation in the video to view that before watching this one. You'll also find a link in the description below. Now, you can choose to watch a certain part of this guide if you wish, or you can just simply to play through the whole video. If you go in the description, there's links to each individual part and the time to skip to that section. Now, for this Slayer assignment, unlike other Slayer monsters, there's not really a low level and a high level alternative for this monster, as basically the Minotaur has only one location, but its levels can differ depending on whereabouts you're fighting it in that location. So what I will do for the purpose of this guide is just talk about the stats of each different version of the Minotaur you can fight. So the Minotaurs you will find in the Stronghold of Security. Now, they can either be level 14 or level 52 depending on whereabouts in the Stronghold you are. So I will talk about both versions just so you know the information. So for the level 14 Minotaur, obviously they're level 14, they will have 1000 life points, they have a max hit of 96, which is a melee style attack, and they have a weakness to magic, specifically water spells. So obviously that's the level 14 one. So level 52, which can be found in a different area of the Stronghold of Security, they have 3700 life points, so obviously a lot higher, and they have a max hit of 364, so again obviously a lot higher. However, the weakness stays the same, so they are still weak to magic spells and most definitely water spells. Now, as for Slayer Masters, the only Slayer Master to assign Minotaurs as a task is Churail. So Churail can be found southeast of the Tavali Lodestone, and you can see the little Slayer icon on the mini-map. Now, if you completed the Wild Gothic Sleeps quest, Churail will be replaced by Spira, but they both have the same effect. So there's no actual sort of Slayer level required or combat level required to be able to use Churail as a task, and Churail will assign anything between 15 to 50 Minotaurs per task. So as for best locations, obviously, now as there's only one location that you can find the Minotaurs, obviously I'll just be talking to you about the Stronghold of Security, which is where you will find them. However, I will help you out by showing you where the different levels of the Minotaurs are. So you'll find the low level Minotaur, the 14 one, more in the middle part of the first floor of the Stronghold. But if you head right back to the south part, which is being displayed on the mini map, on the world map to you, this is where you'll find a large group of level 52 Minotaurs grouped together. So depending on your combat level and preferences will depend on whereabouts on the first floor you want to go. But obviously there's all different chambers that you need to go through, the different doors to reach, and they will be scattered around either the low levels or the high levels. Easiest way to get to the Stronghold of Security will most likely be via the Edgeville Lodestone and heading directly south from there, or alternatively you can teleport to the Grand Exchange and walk to the Stronghold of Security from there. So in terms of strategies using their weaknesses, so you'll probably gather from the footage that the level 52 ones that are grouped together are actually probably one of the best ones to fight, because there's a large variety of them in a close proximity of each other, and because you're using magic, this will make it a lot easier. So if you're using the evolution of combat abilities, you can use the spells such as Chain, Fire Breath and Tsunami in order to hit a multiple of Minotaurs in one go. This will enable you to dispatch them quicker and obviously get through your Slayer assignment quicker, and most definitely get your chance of getting the Slayer soul a lot more quicker as well. Obviously the one thing to be careful of is obviously as these are level 52 Minotaurs compared to their level 14 ones, you have got the chance of getting yourself ambushed, but you'll notice in the footage there's like a little fence in the middle, so if you're standing near that, your spells will kind of phase through that and hit the Minotaurs without them actually being able to come over to you. Just be mindful there's a few wolves in this area, so you might attract their attention as well with your ricocheting abilities. Now, as for the Slayer's Soul, now the likelihood of getting a Slayer's Soul is affected by a few factors. So every kill has a chance of trapping the Slayer's Soul. Now this is affected by your base Slayer level compared to the creature's required Slayer level to kill. So obviously the higher Slayer level you are, the more chance you have of capturing that Slayer monster's soul. So if a Slayer monster only requires level 1 Slayer to fight them, therefore no Slayer requirement, the higher Slayer level you are, you're going to find capturing it quite easy, where if a Slayer monster has a Slayer level of 99, that monster is going to have a lot less chance of dropping the soul in comparison. Now also, being assigned a particular Slayer monster as an assignment will double the chance of obtaining the soul compared to fighting one unassigned, so it is worthwhile trying to get assigned one as a task if you're purposely going after a particular Slayer monster's soul. Now also, being level 120 Slayer further doubles your chance of obtaining a Slayer monster's soul. Just obviously make sure you've got your Jagex with you in your inventory so you're able to capture the monster's soul successfully. Now, as for recommended equipment, as the Minotaurs are weak to magic-based attacks, the recommended weapons and armor will be that of the magic category. So generally what I do will show a low level, medium level and a high level sort of equipment and weapon setup. Obviously these are only recommendations, so you can tweak these where you want. Obviously I will be basing on it that you're using water spells, as that is the Minotaur's weaknesses, and obviously depending on your level and obviously sort of wealth in terms of what armor and weapons you can buy will depend on what setup best suits you. But again, like I said, it's only a recommendation. If you've got any particular tips or anything in terms of equipment and setup, you can put that in the comment section below. So I wanted to quickly talk about Social Slayer for those of you who don't know what that is. So Social Slayer is basically just like a normal Slayer assignment, however you can do it with a friend. So obviously I've been doing that myself with my good friend Thomas, aka Rune Movies, aka Mario Sonic, as we're both going about to obtain all the souls for our Slayer dungeon. Now how you go about doing this is with either your Slayer gem or if you have a Slayer helmet. If you right click that item, you can choose the option co-op options and then can invite your friend to join a Slayer party with you. Do note though that once you're in a Slayer party, if you sort of go too far apart from each other or one of you logs out, you will exit the Slayer party and will have to rejoin, so just do take note of that. But basically you'll then, if one of you asks for a Slayer assignment from your respective Slayer master, you'll both share that assignment between the two of you, which is quite handy because some of you will be able to influence what assignments you get. Now obviously the only disadvantage is obviously there'll be less kills between the two of you. So for example, if Chirel assigns you 50, best case scenario is you'll have 25 each. But obviously the perks of it is that you'll complete the assignment quicker, which will mean you'll get more Slayer assignment points, but you'll also collect what's known as Slayer co-op points, which can be used for additional rewards. Now being in a co-op party doesn't affect the chance of getting a soul, so you're not going to be at a disadvantage of doing it. So if you and a friend are both trying to obtain all of your 151 souls, I would recommend doing this as it makes it a little bit more fun. And the rewards you can get from the co-op points are quite good. You have the ability to use food on your partner, you can both share the same protective equipment, there's all different varieties of things you can use, so it is definitely recommended if you're up for that sort of thing. Now, in terms of key drops to collect, the funny thing is that even though the Minotaurs have got two different level versions you can fight, both of them drop pretty much the exact same things as each other, so it doesn't really matter whether you're fighting high level or low level, you're going to get the same chance of drops. Obviously the rarity might differ a little bit on some of the items, but the actual things I'd keep an eye out for are still going to be the same thing. Now, obviously they will drop bronze spears and staffs of air, which are obviously high alchable, so obviously it is worth doing that, and they will also get a fair amount on the grand exchange. They will drop noted rune essence, so obviously that's stackable, which is worth collecting. They will also drop a variety of coins and obviously runes as well, so anything that is sort of stackable is always worth picking up. They will also drop the right skull half, which makes up the scepter that you can build to teleport yourself to the barbarian village and the stronghold of security. However, not many people really use that these days, so it's up to you whether you collect that or not. So obviously the only main difference here between the two will be your experience. So if you fight the level 14 Minotaurs, you'll be given 16.6 Slayer experience per kill, and if you fight the level 52 ones, you'll be given 46.4 Slayer experience per kill. So it's definitely worth going after the level 52 ones if you're able to fight against them without posing too much risk to yourself, and that will just give you that bit extra experience, and also will give you a stronger level Minotaur if you capture its soul as well. So there we are, that's my guide on the Minotaur Slayer assignment. Now, I know not many of you will be watching this guide due to the Minotaurs being quite a low level Slayer assignment, however, I do wish to complete a guide for every single possible Slayer assignment, and obviously those of you who are just starting off may find it worthwhile to watch. So myself and Thomas will be planning to make a guide on every single one of the Slayer monsters that can be assigned as a task, and also every monster that can have its soul obtained, as we're both trying to go for 151 in our codex. So obviously there will be a lot higher level Slayer monsters and higher level guides to come as we get going, but we're just beginning with the low level ones. But if you are looking for more guides, just keep an eye out on my Slayer playlist, which these videos are added to, and more will be coming out as the coming weeks go by. But thank you very much for watching today. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Thanks everyone, and happy slaying.